An important reminder for all of us to be careful on the road, as fatalities have now passed 300. Think about it. 300 families without their loved ones, 300 persons gone too soon, and over 270 fatal crashes that could have been avoided. So as we enter the festive season, let's drive within the speed limit, avoid reckless overtaking, and look out for pedestrians. You're watching another installment of Jamaica Magazine, and I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. There's a lot in store just for you, so stay with us.
We know you want better roads in your towns and communities. That is why through the SPARK program, your government is allocating over $40 billion over 2 years to fix your community and rural roads. $20 billion will go towards fixing smaller roads in every area, with $150 million allocated per area. The remaining funds will be distributed based on road length and condition, ensuring areas with greater need receive more assistance. Your government is caring for you.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, December 5, 2024. Government has declared a state of public emergency for the St. Andrews South Police Division and sections of the St. Andrews Central Police Division. According to a release from the Office of the Prime Minister OPM, it's in response to a significant increase in violent criminal activities within these areas. Of note are the communities of Waltham Park Road, Maxfield Avenue, and Waterhouse, which have been identified as hotspots for gang-related warfare. The OPM says this poses public safety risks to residents, commuters, and bystanders given their use as public thoroughfares, adding that the current level of violence and criminal activity exceeds the capacity of standard policing measures to restore public order. The enhanced security measure is expected to give the police, working with the military, room to disrupt criminal networks, apprehend perpetrators, and create an environment conducive to sustainable peace. While this is being pursued, government has also committed to engaging with stakeholders to address the root causes of violence in these communities and establish long-term solutions. The Constitutional Amendment Republic of Jamaica bill could be tabled in Parliament as early as next week. Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs Marlene Malahoo Fort gave that update in a statement to the House of Representatives on Tuesday. The bill aims to transition Jamaica from a constitutional monarchy into a republic by replacing the British monarch with a Jamaican president as the country's formal head of state.
When passed into law, the bill will allow for the Constitution of Jamaica to be put in proper form as the supreme law of the land. The bill proposes to strengthen the alteration mechanism of the Constitution to enable more efficient use of legislative time and greater ease in achieving other agreed reform goals without compromising the guardrails.
Once the legislation completes the parliamentary process, it will be subject to a national referendum, giving the people of Jamaica the final say on the country's future direction.
We have not had a referendum in independent Jamaica. And there are talks all over of the challenges that the holding of a referendum pose. But there is no escaping the approval of the people in order to make the changes to achieve the agreed national goals.
A state-of-the-art community cultural center is being built in Olympic Gardens in the Kingston 11 area. Member of Parliament for the constituency, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, was on hand for Wednesday's groundbreaking to kickstart the project. Construction of the $127 million multi-purpose building is being financed by the Chase Fund, and the work is projected to take place over a 9-month period. Dr. Holness says the development is to facilitate a wide range of activities without restrictions. Upgrades will include a playground for children and a paved multi-purpose court.
So this entire area will become effectively the community sports center and civic center. That's the plan for the entire year.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness has unveiled a series of development projects for the Olympic Gardens community in his West Central St. Andrew constituency. Among the initiatives planned is a sewer project for Olympic Way.
This is necessary to be done to relieve the problem that exists in Bay Farm Villa, where they constantly have sewage being backed up, in Olympic Court, where they too also have a sewage problem, in the compound area and other areas that are tied into the current sewer. Now, once that is in place, all the properties along Olympic Way and the roads leading off come into play for development.
Other initiatives set to come on stream for the area include the handover of houses at St. Paul's Lane and groundbreaking for a 20-room golden-aged home in the constituency.
There are many elderly persons in our constituency that they just don't have anywhere to live. It is just the kindness of community care. People who say, all right, let me look out for Miss Mama, that they have food to eat and somewhere to live.
The Olympic Gardens Civic Center, which was built 15 years ago, will be renovated to house training sessions for the young people in the community to help them find viable work. Government has launched the groundbreaking Just Transition Project, designed to both address climate change and create sustainable jobs, safeguard workers' rights, and foster fair and inclusive growth. The two-year initiative was launched during the Ministry of Labour and Social Security's Regional Labour Talk Roadshow held in St. Anne recently. It brings together the International Labour Organization ILO and local stakeholders to foster collaboration and implement policies that infuse climate action with decent work principles.
And take the steps to support the best practices and support the working conditions that allow for us to not only have the best output and productivity, but to protect this planet that we have.
And finally, Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ says the issue affecting timely payments to some successful applicants for the government's reverse income tax credit, RITC, should be resolved within the next 3 business days. TAJ has advised that it is currently in dialogue with the Accountant General's Department AGD about the matter and is also contacting the affected individuals to inform them of the delay. Applicants not seeing their $20,000 one-time payment in their bank accounts may submit queries by calling 888-TAXBACK. That's 888-829-2225 or emailing taxback@taj.gov.jm. Meanwhile, eligible individuals who have not yet submitted their applications are reminded that the deadline has been extended to Friday, December 13. Applications can be submitted via the Tax Authority's portal at jamaicatax.gov.jm, which hosts a reverse income tax credit hub. The process of application to disbursement spans a minimum of 4 weeks from the time a confirmed application is submitted. Beneficiaries will receive a notification via SMS text message or email advising when the disbursement is made to the financial institution or remittance agency of their choice. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry.
Members of the public are being advised that the Castleton Botanical Gardens in St. Mary will undergo a major renovation exercise over the next year. Work will include the construction of new fencing, bathrooms, walkways, and gabions. The park will, however, remain open to the public. Visitors are asked to exercise caution while on the premises and along the Junction Main Road. If there are any questions, persons may contact 876-574-2099. A message from the PIOJ, Jamaican Path from Hills to Ocean Project, and the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining Public Gardens Division.
Season 6 of Finance Matters has come to an end. But just in case you missed any of the episodes, here's a recap of discussions on the different topics we've covered.
The government of Jamaica is leveraging the country's macroeconomic rewards for the benefit of Jamaicans. In Season 6, we highlighted the government's programs and projects geared towards building a resilient Jamaica. In case you missed all this, don't worry, we have the recap for you. Hi, I'm Shaquille Rochester Shorter and welcome to the season finale of Finance Matters. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the Ministry of Finance on Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, TikTok, and now Threads to see all the episodes and highlights. $20,000. That's how much the government could give you under the reverse income tax credit. This is eligible for all taxpayers who earn below $3 million annually. Bevan Sinclair, Chief Technical and Tax Dispute Resolution Advisor at Tax Administration Jamaica, told us all about it.
The reverse income tax credit was a program that was announced by the Honorable Minister of Finance, Dr. Nigel Clark, in his budget presentation on March 12 of 2024. The whole objective of the program is to encourage the on-time filing and payment of statutory contributions by individuals. Dr. Clark at the time indicated that the whole program was designed to facilitate low-income earners in providing a modest relief, and also persons who are earning minimum wage to benefit from the program.
Visit jamaicatax.gov.jm/RITC for more information. If you are not eligible for the RITC and you need money, the Development Bank of Jamaica, DBJ, is granting loans up to $500,000 to boost productivity and expand your business through the Tradesperson Ownership Opportunity Loan Tool Program. Watch as Edison Galbraith, General Manager for Channels, Relationship and Marketing, informed us how this loan would benefit tradespersons.
Okay, so the tool program, Tradesperson Ownership Opportunity Loan, is a new product that the Development Bank of Jamaica has put out to support our tradespersons or tradesmen, tradeswomen working in various sectors across Jamaica, whether they be plumbers, tilers, hairdressers, dressmakers, in all of the sectors, in agriculture as well, to acquire tools to help them to be more productive and to grow their businesses. You can get up to $500,000 to purchase tools for up to 2 years repayment at a 9% interest rate.
While the GOJ is making money available to individuals, intentional steps have also been taken to counter money laundering and removing Jamaica from the Financial Action Task Force's grey list of countries.
So we were placed on the grey list because it was determined that we were not sufficiently compliant with all of the recommendations. When we had our last mutual evaluation review in 2017, we had only by then met 23 of the 40 recommendations.
23.
That's 23. And so by the end of it, recently we bumped that up to 37, which was enough for them to take us off the grey list now before the next round of evaluations in 2026. As to why we were placed on the grey list, there's a measure called M3, which measures all of the money in the economy. Now, relative to our size, it was found that there's a lot of money in the economy that we need to properly account for all of these transactions. And so we were not able to satisfy that requirement. And so we now had to develop an action plan to show FATF that we are committed to being compliant with all of these recommendations. And now we only have 3 outstanding.
The GOJ is also revolutionizing the public sector. Mario Thompson Walters, the Executive Director of the Transformation Implementation Unit, told us about their reskilling, upskilling, and new skilling RUN project.
The RUN program looks across the needs of the employer, the needs of the employee and the future needs of the employer. So RUN is an acronym for reskilling, upskilling, and what we call new skilling. So the reskilling program focuses on the employee and what the employee would like to do. So upskilling, which is the U in our RUN, is all about the employee's career and where it is that they want to go in that career.
While the TIU is educating the public sector, the Jamaica Stock Exchange is using creative ways to train Jamaicans about market research and the stock markets.
First, we have the most recent, not yet launched, but we are in the process of ensuring that it is launched, is one geared towards primary school. And that's the stock market game for primary and primary schools.
Okay.
And that is designed so that you catch the students early.
Yes.
You know, so that the emphasis that we have now to ensure that mature people understand the market, you'll not have that a couple of years down the road.
Yes.
And also, how do you treat with devices? You know, the phones and the tablets. We want to ensure that the students understand that there is a way in which they can benefit intellectually and have fun. So that game is to be launched. But as you know, we also have the stock market game for students, fifth formers, right through to 6th. And we are in 48 schools right across the island.
The government of Jamaica is now making it more affordable for Jamaicans to import goods through increases in the duty-free thresholds at the Jamaica Customs Agency, JCA. Kedon Dennis, manager air cargo at the JCA, told us more.
From where I sit at the airport, I can definitely say there's been an increase in the amount of goods that we see.
But what does that really mean for Jamaican economy?
Well, more goods will mean persons have greater access to items. They can sit at home, shop, enjoy their shopping, and don't worry about paying custom duty once these items fall below the de minimis regime.
You may not agree with a customs valuation after you've imported your goods from overseas. Well, the government is ensuring that you have a voice through the Revenue Appeals Division, RAD.
The Revenue Appeals Division, RAD, is mandated by the Revenue Appeals Division Act to adjudicate disputes that may arise from time to time between taxpayers and the revenue commissioners. Now, the revenue commissioners are the Commissioner General for Tax Administration Jamaica, the Commissioner for the Jamaica Customs Agency, and the Commissioner of Valuation at the National Land Agency. And those three commissioners and their departments cover the gamut of taxes that we have jurisdiction to assist with the resolution of disputes.
Coupled with the socio-economic goals we are achieving at home, the government is also committed to fulfilling its international obligations.
There are 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and these 17 Sustainable Development Goals reflect the 3 dimensions of sustainable development: social, economic, and environmental, as I mentioned before.
Yes.
So within social, we have poverty reduction, gender equality, good health and well-being, education. Within economic development, we have goals that focus on innovation and economic growth, on building infrastructure. We have goals also for the environment: life on land, life below water, climate action. And these goals ensure that we are managing our natural resources in such a way that they are preserved and protected as necessary, and that they are used in a sustainable manner.
Our pensioners are always a priority, and the government is also making their lives easier. David King, Acting Director of Communication and Customer Service at the Accountant General's Department, told us how.
One of the ways the AGD has been trying to reach our pensioners is by digitalizing the process. So one way is we're trying to infuse technology into how we do our processes. For example, our status portal is one of the ways we have that.
All right, so tell me about the status portal.
All right, so our status portal is accessible by our website. That's www.treasury.gov.jm, where pensioners can go on utilizing the unique pension number or reference number. They access the portal, so when they go on the website, it's at the top left-hand corner. They click the status portal section, input their pension number, and from there, they're able to see the status of their pension. When we refer to the status, what we're talking about is if they're active, inactive, or suspended. So once able to go on, they can see the date they submitted the pension data certificate. They're able to see when it's actually due, and should they require any additional feedback, they can actually contact us by the portal via email or request a call back from the office.
The Ministry of Finance and the Public Service is driven by service excellence. Thank you for joining us for Season 6 of Finance Matters. Remember, you can follow us on social media at MOF Jamaica, and please visit our website at mof.gov.jm. Stay tuned for next season, where we will continue to demystify the economic and fiscal policies and initiatives implemented by the government to empower Jamaicans as we chart a path to Jamaica's economic prosperity.
The Bank of Jamaica has been helping us to understand inflation and how it responds. It's a commitment being delivered through its public education series, Inflation Watch.
Hello, I'm Burkan. Thanks for joining me in this, my first time as a host on Inflation Watch, where Bank of Jamaica highlights the key factors influencing price movements in Jamaica. At July 2024, headline or annual inflation, which is the general rate of increase in the prices of goods and services, as measured over a 12-month period by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, was 5.1%. This is some excellent news. And guess what? July marks the 5th consecutive month at which headline inflation has remained within BOJ's inflation target range of 4 to 6%. When inflation is kept within this band, price increases are stable and predictable. Inflation at July 2024 was primarily driven by increased fares for route and hackney carriage taxes, which were implemented in October 2023. The inflation outturn was also influenced by increased prices for food, including fruits such as oranges, ripe bananas, pineapples, and dried coconuts, as well as cereal and cereal products, including rice, bread, and other bakery products. Higher rental and electricity rates also contributed to the outturn for July. Inflation at July was lower than the 5.4% recorded at June 2024 and remained well below the peak of 11.8% recorded in April 2022. This lower inflation at July, compared to the peak in April 2022 and several months since then, was supported by BOJ's monetary policy. That policy included 1. Holding steady at 7% the policy interest rate. That's the interest rate paid by BOJ on the current accounts that deposit-taking institutions have at the central bank. 2. Maintaining a relatively stable foreign exchange rate, which continued to reduce the impact of imported inflation. And 3. Ensuring tight Jamaican dollar liquidity conditions. On June 28, BOJ's Monetary Policy Committee announced the start of a gradual easing of monetary policy by slowing the reduction of liquidity in the financial system. Now that you're aware of the factors that influenced the inflation outturn at July 2024, let's check in with my co-host BJ.
How you do? BJ here. The last time we talked about inflation, I mentioned monetary policy. That's how BOJ manage inflation. They use the policy interest rate as the main tool. Remember that when inflation too high, BOJ worked to reduce it by increasing the policy rate. That's the interest rate paid on the accounts of deposit-taking institutions like commercial banks at the central bank. In that case, they tighten or contract monetary policy. That helps to slow down inflation because with that adjustment, banks charge more interest on loans and are expected to pay more on savings accounts, which discourage borrowing and encourage saving. On the other hand, when inflation is low, BOJ eases monetary policy, reduce interest rate, and encourage borrowing and spending to grow the economy. That's expansionary monetary policy. You remember that before the pandemic, inflation was low and BOJ kept the policy rate low at 0.5% for a long time, so businesses could expand and create more jobs. Business people and consumers found borrowing more manageable and homeowners got a better deal on their mortgage. Jano, everybody benefit when inflation low and stable at between 4 and 6%. But during the pandemic, the price of lots of things went up. Yeah, man, inflation was high. To keep down inflation, BOJ started to raise the policy rate in October 2021 to slow borrowing and spending. I know, that's a lot to digest, but send me your questions and we can talk again. BJ, signing out.
Thanks, BJ, for that useful information. And that's a wrap for Inflation Watch this month. Join us again next time when Bank of Jamaica will bring you another episode of Inflation Watch, where we track inflation and explore the factors influencing price changes in Jamaica. Until then, walk good. I'm Burkan.
Join us next month on Inflation Watch to see what the inflation number will be.
The government has spent a lot of time and a lot of resources in trying to improve road safety. It is the logic behind the new Road Traffic Act. It is the logic behind the new ticketing system. But as we enter into the festive season, where we usually see an uptick based on heightened use, based on parties, based on other events, we must implore commuters out there to be safe on the roads. Because though you may be speeding to your destination, you may also be speeding to your final destination. Look out for the children, look out for pedestrians.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow and we'll bring another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via X at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.